Twitter by any chance? I think I don't know my handle. I think it's Samford _. Not that I'm going to be using it. Yeah, Samford _.
I have to unmute myself as well.
Yes.
No, you have. So is that okay?
Yes.
Okay, I feel a little bit self-conscious because everybody so far is a polyglot and I'm not. My talk is entitled On the Tip of My Tongue, Working, Writing, Talking, and Living Between Two Languages. So I come from a small town in Greece. Sorry, just let me, why can't I move? It's not moving. So, oh, there it is. Okay, got it. Okay, so this is that's my hometown. It's on the north, on the border with Turkey. And the landmark is, I can hear my voice, sorry, but I can hear my voice. How can
I don't know because you are muted.
I am muted, right?
Yes, you are.
I think it's the speakers on your...
Mute the volume on your computer.
Oh, right. Okay, okay, because that was so distracting. Okay, so this is my town. The landmark is the lighthouse. Now it's a very small port, but it used to be quite bigger, and this is one of the biggest lighthouses in Greece, actually, although my town is very small. And since we are at the border with Turkey, we share quite a lot of words. So, I mean, Greek generally does have a lot of loans, obviously from like Latin, but also like what not many people know maybe is that there are a lot of loans from Turkish because there was a 400-year occupation of Greece. And that's quite interesting because if you visit Turkey, like a Greek and a Turkish person, especially in the setting of like shopping and stuff, they can just communicate. We can just communicate with some words that we share. So I think that's quite interesting. So it's quite customary in Greece that children learn English from a very early age, from like 8. But this happens not, I mean, we do learn English at school, but also usually we attend like an after school club sort of thing. And like almost everybody learns. And actually in Sam's presentation, I saw the 13 countries that were like higher proficiency and Greece wasn't on it. So I find this a bit strange because people like my age and younger, everybody speaks English. And also I started learning German when I was 11. So I started learning English when I was 8, and then I started learning German when I was 11. I have to say I didn't particularly like it, but I did prefer English, and I think I've always knew I wanted to study English literature, and I really loved literature. I read a lot of books, not in English, but in Greek, but they were all like canonical English literature books. So then after school, when the question of what I'm going to study came up, I knew I wanted to study English literature and I wanted to do it in the UK. So I moved to the UK. And so that's where my region is. So yeah, so then during my bachelor's degree, I started learning Spanish as well. And then what happened with German is that my German got completely suppressed. So I studied it for 5 years, but I don't think I could speak it, although I do understand quite a lot, but I don't think I could speak it anymore. My Spanish now is very rusty as well, because I'm so in between English and Greek that I find that my other two languages are very much kind of like almost out of the picture, although I am hoping that if I'm ever in a situation where I would be like in the countries, they would come back, hopefully. And in my perspective, being in the humanities, being Greek, this has always been a very positive thing for me, because especially in the humanities, everybody knows about ancient Greece. So me being a native speaker of Greek has always been something that has been really valued. So I consider myself lucky for that. And while I was studying, I felt that although I didn't speak my language, my native language, it would come up. Professors would ask me how to pronounce things in ancient Greek, and that was something that, although like Greek is a language that it's spoken just by 10 million people, and obviously when I found somebody that would speak Greek, it would obviously make my day, because I would find somebody who would speak my language. I did find accents. We were talking about accents before. When I first moved to the UK, I found regional accents very, very hard to follow, especially because I lived in the north, like the Midlands and Manchester. So it did take me quite some time to get accustomed to it. But now, I love different accents, and I love identifying them. Now, because I started in the UK, so basically I left school and then I went to an English university. I find myself in a very strange situation where I am a native speaker of Greek, like Greek is my mother tongue, but my writing skills are completely underdeveloped in Greek, although it's my native language, because I never attended any kind of academic institution in Greek. So this is, I think it's a very strange, I don't know if it's unique, but anyway, it's unique to me because I obviously find some things easier to express in Greek, but some others not at all. Like I type so slowly in Greek, like so slowly. I'm so much faster in English, and I do try deliberately to attend like conferences in Greece. I was in a conference just like last week in Athens, and I did my presentation in Greek on purpose just to switch from English to Greek and be in the setting, of academia and because I'm doing my PhD now and I don't know where I might end up. And obviously Greece is my home country. I would like to go back if I can. So I think that's important. So I do think myself as a bit of a hybrid because I use these two languages not anymore in different settings and occasions. Like it's not like I can't use both languages for everything. I need to switch between them. And so in terms of my academic endeavors, English is my strong language, and then I need to practice my Greek in the academic environment, and which I find a bit of a strange thing. The fact that I I'm a native Greek, but then when it comes to actually my work, it's easier for me to do it in English. I mean, that's it. That was a short presentation. Yeah, that's how it was.
Thank you very much, Maria. Do we have questions? Sam?
Just a comment about kind of academic language. So I'd say I actually learned how to write academically on my Norwegian course, interestingly enough.
Yeah.
So then when I came back to England, it was a process of learning to convert what I'd learned on the Norwegian course to English academic writing. And it felt very weird to then feel like academically I was more proficient in a second language than I was in my native language.
Yeah, I totally resonate with this because it's weird that when I was doing this presentation, I was preparing it, I found myself Googling like I knew the English word and I had to find the Greek word. I mean, how strange is that, me being a native speaker? Because obviously academic language is very specific, and especially when we're talking about social science and the humanities, there are specific terminology. I mean, I'm sure this happens in science as well, but some of these words I just don't know because I've never used them. So I had to do the opposite of what I usually do, which actually I consider myself near native with English now. I don't need, like, I think in English it's the way it is. But I had to translate from English into Greek, which is my own language. I mean, that's
I had that too. So when I transferred, a lot of my first year courses had lots of technical terms, but they were in Norwegian. And personally, I find Norwegian a lot more straightforward because it's kind of like German. They like to smush lots of words together to make a new technical word. So in English, I was thinking, well, what's this word mean? I don't have the parallels anymore. So.
The thing with Greek is that when we're talking about academic level and when we're talking about literature, humanities, social sciences, it's such a formal language. It sounds so pompous. I hate myself when I speak academic Greek because it just sounds so pretentious. And some of the words it's like huge, like I'm not kidding, like that big of a word, the Greek one. So yeah, but it's just something that I have to get used to doing, especially if I might be teaching over there.
Yes.
Yeah, so I think English is a more informal language, or maybe I'm used to it more.
Yes. Apologies for making a very practical statement. If you'd like some food or some more coffee, it's still out there if you'd like to get some.
Okay, I also wanted to comment that I think it's normal that you are more comfortable with English now, because I'm from Poland and I did my bachelor and master thesis in Polish language, but now I'm doing my PhD in English language. And it's so much easier to do the research in English, all the publications, the presentations, all in English. So it's when I have to write something in Polish in academia, it's horrible.
Yeah, it's hard.
Yeah, it's really hard.
Yes, I think, Maria, I have also met people who have been in similar situations to you, who haven't had a university education in their first language, and therefore can express themselves more fluently in another. Yes. Okay. So anyway, thank you very much for your contribution. I think we can now move.
One person is
A question. Okay, just one quick question. Yeah, one quick question. Okay. Yes, Ray, if I'm pronouncing your name correctly, please go ahead and speak.
Yes, I just wanted to say that I think it's really interesting because I think it also speaks to the natural fallacy in language space that says that native level and fluent is somehow defined by being able to use a language in any situation whatsoever. And people often aim or say that they're not fluent simply because they cannot write a paper or a thesis in that second language that they're learning, or they've decided that they're not fluent because they cannot stand and do a present or do something that they may have been able to do simply because they've been through the academic process, or like they've experienced that, they've gone through school, they did university in their native language. So they assume that that means fluent, but it's not necessarily equal in that sense. And so it shows that fluency is largely individual and based upon experiences, and how you engage in a language balances out. Instead, it says a lot to second language learners and how they should maybe be a little more loose with the way that they view their language skills. Thank you for the talk also. It was very interesting.
Yeah, thank you, Ray. I totally agree with you. And actually this, now that I'm thinking about it in this perspective, it makes, because sometimes I do feel guilty about my own native language, and I'm thinking, why can't you do this? That's your language. How can you not do it? But now, this talk and everything we've been discussing, it actually gives me the tools to think that, yeah, that's okay, because as you just you put it very nicely, is that it depends on experience, not necessarily on which is your first language or your second language, and so on. So yeah, thank you.
Thank you.
Okay. Okay, so let's go on to the next. Thank you very much, Maria.